Hi, welcome to yoga. My name is Kirsten. So glad you could join me today. We've got a great practice today to focus on the low back and the hips. So low back pain is quite common and can be really super uncomfortable. Just a little reminder, if you do experience any sharp pains or any really discomfort during this practice, just back off a little bit, do what you need to do, listen to your body. Don't want to feel any sort of pain, but this should help kind of loosen up the muscles and the joints a little bit to help, hopefully, with low back discomfort in your daily life. So let's get started. So sitting on the mat, maybe sitting on a folded blanket or a pillow, start to allow the eyes to close. Drop the chin to the chest, lengthening the back of the neck. And notice not just lengthening the back of the neck, but maybe notice how the other muscles in the back might feel a stretch in this movement. Sometimes you can feel all the way down. The back is, everything's connected all the way back down to the lower back. Breathing into any spots that might feel tight. Go and roll your left ear to left shoulder. And gently nod your head as if you're saying yes, very, very slowly. And slowly shake your head as if you're saying no. Go and roll the chin back down to the chest and pause in the middle. Roll the right ear to right shoulder. Nod yes. And shake the head no. Nice and slow, really noticing the muscles in the opposite side of the neck and shoulder. And breathing. With each inhale, noticing the breath traveling to the tight areas. And with each exhale, letting go of tension. Go and roll the chin back down to the chest. And come up to neutral. You can allow the eyes to come open now. We'll do a little bit of seated cat-cow to wake up the back. So reach the arms forward, rounding the back, dropping the chin. Nice C curve in the back. And then place the hands on the knees and arch the back, shining the heart center forward, maybe looking slightly up toward the ceiling. And bring the breath into it. So exhaling, rounding the back, cat. And inhaling, arching the back, cow. And follow the breath, 3 more rounds. And come back to center. Now, using the same idea that we just did with the seated cat-cow, we're going to go side to side. So imagine that the rib cage moves over to the left, just a slight arch in the center of the side, and then to the right, and then left, then right. And now put everything together. So we'll do a circle, kind of a barrel roll of the chest. So we'll go forward, right, back, and left. Circling around, maybe bringing the breath into it. Inhale on the forward, exhale on the back. Good, and reversing directions. And come back to center. Now, with one foot in front of the other, so if they were crossed, kind of move the maybe the right foot in front of the left, and start to walk the hands forward along the floor, coming into a little forward fold here, bowing the forehead down toward the floor. Keep breathing. Again, noticing all the muscles of the back, not just the low back, but the mid back, the upper back, the sides. Notice where you feel a stretch. And again, don't go to the point where it's painful. It should feel like a good, easy stretch. And walk the hands to come back up to seated. Now twisting to the right, so plant the right hand behind the body, left hand on the right knee. And first we'll look over the right shoulder and breathing. And then we'll do something a little different. Keep the hands and the shoulders where they are, but turn the head to the left, opposite twist. This is great for encouraging lymphatic drainage in the neck. Good, and slowly come back to face front. Now switch the feet, so bringing the left foot in front of the right. And once again, walk the hands forward, bowing the forehead toward the floor. And walk the hands, come back up to seat. And we'll twist to the left, so right hand to the left knee, looking over the left shoulder. Inhale, grow the crown of the head taller, and exhale, twist a little deeper. Good, now turning the head to look over the right shoulder, opposite twist. Good, and come back to center. Drop the left hand to the mat, raise the right arm all the way up and over for a side stretch. And other side. Good, and come back up to center. Now if you're sitting on a blanket or a pillow, just move it off to the side. And we'll come into a reverse plank. So sit back on the back edge of your seat, hands behind you, fingertips faced toward your body. Plant the feet nice and strong. Inhale. And on the exhale, press the hips up toward the ceiling, coming into a flat reverse tabletop. Holding the head still. We don't want to drop the head to hurt the neck, but also not straining the front of the throat too much. Just kind of find a comfortable spot. Feeling the stretch maybe in the front of the shoulders, front of the hips. Good, and release. Come back to sit on the mat. Straighten the legs in front of you. We'll go into a little forward fold, so start to walk the hands down the shins. You can reach for the shins, maybe the ankles, maybe even take peace fingers, the first two fingers, and wrap them around the big toes. Inhale, looking forward, arching the back just slightly. And exhale, dropping the nose toward the knees. If the knees are bent here, that's fine. Whatever works for you. We don't want to pull anything too tight. But once again, notice where we feel this stretch. So it might be in the backs of the legs, might be in the low back, might be in the neck, might be a little bit of everywhere. And breathing, nice, long, steady inhales through the nose. And long, steady exhales through the nose. And start to walk the hands back up the shins. Come back up to a seat. Now we'll bend the knees and go into a deer pose. So bend the knees and drop both knees to the same direction. So my left foot is right in front of my right knee. Trying to sit on both hips equally. It can be difficult to get this right hip down, but just imagine that it's dropping toward the floor and you can make it to sitting equally there. Good, and when you're ready, I'm going to twist away from the knees, so toward the feet, looking over the right shoulder. You're going to come back to face forward and switching sides. And twist to the left. And come back to face front. All right, we'll make our way into a squat. So in your own time, come up just onto the balls of the feet. Go sideways so it's easier to see. So maybe dropping the heels toward the floor, but they don't have to touch. So hands can rest on the floor for stability. Maybe bringing the hands together, Anjali Mudra, heart center. Noticing the balance here, might wobble a little bit. Just noticing how your body is responding today in the squat. And again, notice if you can feel any sort of stretch in the back. Good, now take the hands and reach forward, rounding the back. Really stretching into the back, holding this balance. Good, and come back. Now plant the hands on the floor and start to walk the feet just a little bit wide. So we'll do a wide squat, toes out, heels in. Bring the hands together. You can use the elbows to press the knees out. Wide squat. Notice how this maybe feels different in the low back, the ankles. Good, planting the hands on the floor. Walk the feet back to about hip width and start to raise the hips all the way up toward the ceiling. We'll move right into a forward fold from here. Breathing into the backs of the legs. This is a new stretch for them. If you feel dizzy at all, just bring the hips back down. Good. Now bring the hands to the shins, flat back, look forward. Inhale and exhale, fold, dropping the head toward the floor. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back. And exhale, fold. One more time, hands to shins. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, fold. And stay here, 3 rounds of breath. Good, now slowly bend the knees and start to round the back very, very slowly, 1 vertebra at a time, coming up to stand. The head is the last thing to come up. And meet me in mountain pose. So standing, hip width apart for the feet, palms face forward, maybe roll the shoulders to open the front of the shoulders. Crown of the head nice and tall toward the ceiling. Good. Inhale, arms up overhead. Interlace the fingers, pointers facing up toward the ceiling, and bend to the left, half moon. And back up to center, and to the right. Good, back up to center, look up toward the ceiling, big stretch, and release the arms by the sides. All right, stepping to the front of the mat, we'll take a big step back with the right foot, coming onto the back toe. So we'll go into a crescent lunge. So instead of planting the heel like we would for warrior 1, we're going to be up on the back toe, swoop the arms forward and up, dropping into the hips, bending the front knee 90 degrees, crescent lunge. Maybe feeling a slight back bend, maybe just looking up, not even toward the ceiling, but maybe just high up on your wall. Feeling opening in the front of the hip, opening in the front of the shoulders. Draw the belly button in toward the spine, providing some strength and stability for the core and the low back. Go ahead and drop the hands to frame the front foot. And we'll drop the back knee, coming into a nice low lunge. So maybe you can shift your hips back and forward, kind of find a spot that feels good. Maybe walk the front foot forward a little bit and really dropping that hip, opening the front of the hip. So the hips have quite an impact on the low back. Of course, everything's connected, but they're super close. So when we sit a lot, it can make the front of the hips really tight, which then pulls on the low back. So really good to open up all parts of the body, but especially the front of the hip, sides of the hip, everything that's right in that area of the low back. Perfect. Now shift the hips backward. We're going to stretch the back of the front leg. So inhale, look forward, and then exhale, bowing nose to knee. Stretching that left leg. Good, coming back up into a low lunge. And planting the right hand on the floor, raising the left arm up for a twist. And drop the left hand. We'll shift the left foot back to meet the right. So coming into a tabletop, hands and knees. We'll do a little traditional cat-cow here. So round the back, drop the chin, cat. And looking forward, arching the back, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And come back to center. Walk the hands forward, come up on the toes, come into a plank. And hold for just a minute. Nice strong core, drawing the belly button in toward the spine. And then we'll lower all the way to the mat chaturanga, so bending the elbows. If you want to bring the knees down, that's fine. And coming all the way down to rest on the mat. Good, planting the hands right underneath the shoulders. And we're going to press up into a baby cobra, but imagine that the work comes from your back and not from your arms. So rather than pushing up, we'll just have the hands here for stability, And the work comes from the back, so lifting the upper back up, looking forward, baby cobra. And come down to rest on the mat. Arms can come by the sides. Good, plant the hands under the shoulders, baby cobra again. And come down, resting the right cheek on the mat. Good, place the hands under the shoulders, pressing up into tabletop, and then all the way back into child pose. Hips back toward the heels. Good, coming back up to tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. Lift the left foot up in the air, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the left hips. And straighten the leg and plant the left foot back down. Other side, lifting the right foot up, three-legged dog. And bend the knee, open the hips to the right. Straighten the leg. Now take the right foot and draw it all the way, nose toward the knee, all the way forward between the hands. And we'll repeat that sequence on the other side. So planting the left ball of the foot, we'll swoop the arms forward and up. Crescent lunge. Really dropping the front of the left hip. Good, and frame the foot with the hands. Drop the back knee. Low lunge. Maybe shift the foot forward, stretching into the front of that hip. Go ahead and shift the weight back, stretching the front leg, nose to knee. Go ahead and come back forward. Plant the left hand, raise the right arm up, twist. And drop the right hand. Bring the right knee back to tabletop. And cat and cow, so rounding the back. Exhale, cat, and inhale, look forward, cow. And follow your breath. 3 more rounds here. And come back to neutral. So stepping the feet back, coming into a plank, maybe dropping the knees, heels up toward the butt, and lowering chaturanga all the way down to the floor. Elbows are nice and close to the rib cage. Good. Baby cobra, planting the hands under the shoulders, lifting with the back muscles. Good, release, left cheek to the mat, arms by the sides. All right, coming back up. Now this time instead of baby cobra, we'll go into a little half locust. So arms face backward and lift the shoulders up off the mat. Lifting, lifting, lifting. And release, right cheek to the mat. And coming back up, pressing up to tabletop, and then all the way back to child pose. Come back up to hands and knees. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Shifting the weight into the left foot, raise the right leg up, 3-legged dog. And bend the knee, open the hips to the right. Straighten the leg, plant the right foot back down and shift, switch legs. So raising the left leg, 3-legged dog. And bend the knee, open the hip. Straighten the leg and draw the knee toward the nose, stepping forward between the hands. Now this time, do plant the back foot all the way down to the mat, 45 degrees. We'll come into warrior 2. So swooping the arms up, arms face either end of the room, forward and back. Bending that front knee towards 90 degrees, really sinking into the hips. Maybe move a little bit, find a comfy position here, opening into that left hip. Maybe roll the shoulders, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Go ahead and straighten the front leg. Shift the hips back, reach forward, and windmill the arms all the way down into triangle pose. And bending the front knee, come back up to warrior two. Now reverse the warrior, dropping the right hand to the thigh, looking up toward the ceiling. And come back to warrior two. Now leading with the back, right hand will swoop the arm forward, down, and up, coming into a side angle, leaning on that front knee. I know we can stay here or we can move into crescent moon, up to you. So this is what crescent moon looks like. We're going to shift the weight forward onto the left leg, keeping this right arm up in the air, reach the left arm toward the floor, and then allow the right foot to come up to parallel with the floor. If you have a chair handy or a block or something to rest your hand on, that's also an option. Bring the floor up to you. All right, dropping the right foot back down to the mat, dropping the right hand also down to the mat. We're going to straighten the left leg and bow the knee towards the nose toward the knee. And now walking the hands around to about halfway between the feet, turn both toes out, maybe heel toe the feet a little bit wider, wide leg forward fold. Good, and inhale, flat back, looking forward, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, look forward. Exhale, forward fold. And two more, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale, and hold. And walk the hands around to the right foot, turning the left toes in to 45 degrees, knee to nose. And we'll repeat on this right side. So bending the right leg, windmill the arms all the way up, come into warrior two. Straighten the right leg, reaching forward, and we'll come into triangle pose. Drop the right arm, lift the left arm, gaze up toward the ceiling, or straight ahead is fine too. Maybe a micro bend into the front knee so we're not hyperextending the joint. Good, bend the front knee, back to warrior two. And reverse warrior. And back to warrior two. Leading with the left hand, swoop the arm down, forward and up, coming into side angle. And we can stay here or we can move into Crescent Moon. So shifting the weight forward into the right leg, reaching toward the floor or a chair or a block, lifting the left leg up, Crescent Moon. Good, drop the left leg and drop the left arm. Walk the hands around to center. This time keeping the legs about where they are, so not quite as wide as the wide leg forward fold. We're gonna bend the knees and come up into a goddess pose, bending the elbows to cactus arms. Good, straighten the legs, drop the arms, heel toe the feet together, Tadasana. Take a moment to roll the shoulders, take a deep breath, find your center, and then we'll move into chair pose. So bending the knees as if you're sitting back into a chair. Drawing the belly button into the spine, feeling strength in the core, maybe a little stretch in the low back here as well. Good, and then drop the hands to the knees, and we'll start to bend the knees all the way down into a squat. So really slowly coming all the way down, reaching for the floor. Perfect. All right, reaching forward, rounding the back. Balancing and stretching the back. Good, drop the hands. We'll move into a wide squat again. So taking a little step out, toes face out, palms together, heart center, wide squat. Excellent, and come to sit on the mat. We'll go into another deer pose, so letting the knees fall to the left and twisting the body over to the right. Good, come back to center. And now we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna move right into a pigeon pose. So keeping this left knee bent, we're gonna plant the hands on either side of the left knee and start to straighten the right leg, and then shift the weight up onto the top of that leg. So we're facing the short edge of the mat. It can be great to bring a folded blanket right underneath this left hip. So maybe fold it up really nice and high, supporting that left hip, sitting back on the blanket. And you can start to walk your hands forward. Maybe stay here if this is comfortable, or bowing the head toward the mat. Now it is a little bit easier to bring the foot toward the body. So bending that knee nice and close to the body will make it just feel a little bit less intense. If you need more intensity, you can move the foot out away from the body. And notice that stretch in the outside of the hip. And pressing with the hands, come back up to a seat, shifting the weight back to sit, and we'll switch to the other side. So deer pose, to the knees to the right, twist to the left. And then moving into pigeon on the right. So hands frame the right foot, straighten the left leg, coming up on the top of the knee and planting that blanket or pillow underneath the right hip. Look forward, reach the arms forward and bow forehead to the mat. And pressing back up with the hands. Remove that blanket out of the way. And we'll go right into another locust. So facing the same direction, we'll use the hands to prop ourselves up and then straighten that right leg, coming all the way down to lie on the belly. Now hands again go backward, reaching toward the feet, lifting the shoulders off the mat, and then also lift the legs this time. So full locust. Good, and drop the right ear to the mat. Rest. Locust is great for strengthening the low back. So it's not just stretching, but strengthening is also important. Good, one more time, coming up, lifting the shoulders, lifting the feet, locust. And drop the left cheek to the mat and rest. And using the hands, plant the hands under the shoulders and press all the way up into a tabletop and then press back into a hero pose. So sitting back on the heels. Nice gentle counter pose for the low back. Allowing the low back to maybe round a little bit, just kind of sink into this gentle counter pose. Good, moving into seated position, so sitting back, straightening the legs, staff pose. Walk the hands down the shins, come into a forward fold. And walking the hands up the legs, come back up to a seat. Bend the left knee, bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Turn to face the right toes and walk the hands down the leg. Single leg forward fold. And walk the hands up. Now we'll turn to face the left knee and we'll do a little side stretch here. So legs stay right where they are. The right arm, palm up, reaches down toward the shin. Left arm comes all the way up and over. Side stretch. And coming back up to seat. Take this bent knee, raise the knee up, planting the foot on the floor, hug the knee into the chest, and twist, looking over the left shoulder. Now leave the knees and the shoulders right where they are, and turn the head, look over the right shoulder. lymphatic stretch in the neck. Good, and release. Come back to staff pose. Walk the hands down the legs. A brief forward fold to recenter. And walk the hands up. Let's do the other side. So bend the right knee. Right foot to the inside of the left leg, and walk the hands down the leg, forward fold. Good, come back up. Turn to face the right knee. Left palm up along the shin, right arm all the way up and over, and a side stretch. Come back up to a seat, raise that knee up, hug the knee into the chest, and twist to the right. Leaving the shoulders where they are, look over the left shoulder. Good, and release. Shift the hips to about center on the mat. And staying right here, we'll do one last little seated cat-cow. So round the back, cat, and arch the back, looking forward, cow. Round the back, exhale, cat, and inhale, forward, cow, and round the back. And this time, roll all the way down to the mat. Lying flat along the mat, walk the feet to the bottom right corner of the mat. Raise the arms up overhead and walk the hands over to the right, upper right corner, or maybe I'm a little off the mat, but we're going to be in this curved position known as banana asana sometimes, because we're like a banana. Beautiful, and walk the feet to the left corner, hands to the left corner, banana asana on the other side. And come back to center. Now leave the left leg straight along the mat, bend the right knee, hug the knee into the chest. Wind relieving pose. This one's great for digestion, as the name suggests. Bend the left knee. Bring the right ankle to cross over the left knee, figure 4. And you can stay here or lift the left leg off the mat, hug the leg kind of toward the body, maybe reaching behind the left knee. Nice stretch to the outer hip. Good, let go with the hands and slide the right leg all the way down so that the knees are crossed over each other. And hug the knees into the chest. Good, now dropping the knees over to the left, we'll come into a little twist. Bring the arms to cactus arms and gaze over the right shoulder. Good, come back to center. Uncross the legs, straighten the right leg along the mat. Bend the left knee, hug it into the chest, wind relieving pose. We do the right before the left for wind relieving pose because the direction of the colon goes from right, up the right side, across, and then down the left side. So to encourage digestion, we do the right first and then the left. Good, bend the right knee, cross the left ankle over, figure four, and hug that in. Reaching behind the right knee. Let go with the hands. Slide the left shin down to cross knee over knee. Maybe grabbing for the feet, the shins, hugging those knees in. Go ahead and drop the knees over to the right. Cactus arms. Gaze to the left. Go ahead and come back to center, uncross the legs, take both knees, hug both knees in, maybe rock back and forth. We'll do some low back circles, so drawing the knees in a circle, really opening up that low back, giving it a little bit of extra love. And reverse directions. And come back to center, hug those knees in. Good, and let go of the legs, straighten the legs along the mat. We can do Shavasana with legs straight if you like, but what's best I think for the low back is really bending the knees, walk the knees wide on the mat and walk the feet wide on the mat, knock the knees together. Constructive rest. So maybe let's all try constructive rest for Shavasana today. Turn the palms face up, arms by your sides. Walk the shoulder blades down and together, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Relaxing the muscles of the face, relaxing the jaw and the tongue, the throat, the fronts of the shoulders, the backs of the shoulders, the arms, the hands. Relaxing the belly and the low back. Feeling a natural curve in the low back. Relaxing the legs, allowing the knees to rest on each other. Relaxing the ankles and the feet. No holding, we're balanced here. We'll stay in Savasana for just a moment, embracing the sense of peace and relaxation, following the breath, noticing the inhale and the exhale. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. If the mind starts to wander, bring it back to the breath. Bring it back to a sense of relaxation. Remind the body to let go of holding. Allow thoughts to pass by like puffy clouds. Taking a moment to be still and intentionally relax will translate into a more relaxed day as we move about our business. Good. Starting to deepen the inhale and lengthen the exhale. Bringing attention back into the body and back into the space. Starting to wiggle the toes and the fingers, maybe rolling the wrists and the ankles a little bit. And stretching the legs and the arms long. And start to roll over to one side or the other. Pausing for just a moment on the side. Getting your bearings. Inhale. And on the exhale, using the right arm to press up to a seat. Meeting me sitting on the mat, cross-legged, hands to the knees. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose together. And exhale through the nose. Thank you so much for joining me today. Be well. Namaste.